You are listening to the People Centric podcast, where we talk through the toughest challenges that people face at work and give practical advice to fixing those challenges. Thanks for joining our movement to create workplaces that are happier, healthier, aligned, and empowered by putting people at the center of all that we do.
Hey, People Centric leaders, this is Stephanie Anderson, and welcome back to another episode of the People Centric podcast. And we brought our whole team together for this episode again because we thought you just needed a little gift as you went into the holiday season. So we've gifted you the entire People Centric team for this topic, but we are going to talk about presents today because it's the time of year where we're thinking about how do I show the people in my life appreciation, that I care about them? Or maybe you're looking at your team and saying, what can we do to show our team like thanks for all the hard work they've done this year? And I think a lot of times when we talk about gifts, our mind immediately goes to the tangible of like, what can I buy this person that they will like? And if you are a gifts person, that is such a fun conversation to get to have or think about what you could receive. But it got me thinking the other day about what about the non-tangible? And so I posed this question to our team, and they are going to give their live answers to this question. I will also be sharing mine. But in the season of giving, what's the best gift you've ever been given at work? And this is not a tangible something, but maybe something someone did for you or how they made you feel, support you received. And so again, we're going to just hear from the People Centric team today. And hopefully there's maybe some takeaways for all of you, maybe to either just think about who's done in that for you in your life and show them some appreciation, write them a note this holiday season and tell them what that meant to you, or think about how could you do this with your team going through the end of the year. So we'll kick it off. So I don't know who on our team would like to share first, or I can go first, but what's the best gift you've ever been given?
I have several, but I'm going to start with the easy one. I think that this team gives me the gift of laughter all the time. And it makes my job a lot better because I can be overwhelmed or I can feel a little like isolated or lonely all the way out here in Tacoma without you guys. And all I have to do is talk to any one of you at any time, and I get the gift of laughter. And it happens hundreds of times a year, many times a week, and I really enjoy it.
So sometimes we're not even trying to be funny.
Well, sometimes you're hilarious without even knowing it. Yeah. So I'll start with that one. I have many more, so we can keep going, but I'm going to put that one out there first.
I love that. That's such a nice one. Because and I appreciated that you shared that, Diana, because you are the only like remote member of our team. And we've talked a lot about on our team of like trying to be intentional to like still create those spaces where we get to talk to you and have relationships. So I'm glad that that's feeling warm and fuzzy.
I feel it.
Well, I can go next unless somebody has one. Oh, Philip, go for it.
Yeah. So I'll also keep this first one short and sweet. This is from years ago. I was a younger, young professional. And I think it was just the gift of belief. So not to be all Ted Lasso over the top, you need way more in life than belief to get things done. Okay. But I had applied for a position, received it. It was a director level position, which already felt like I was going a little out on a limb. And very soon into that role, the question arose from not just one person on the leadership team, but really everyone of, hey, have you thought about this other role as well? Would you want to be a director of development and community engagement, which some of my favorite things, talking about giving gifts, like, hey, everyone should give a gift. Give a gift to this great nonprofit and support people in need. And just the experiences that came from that and the level of ability they saw in me that I thought I would have eventually, but I didn't really see for the moment or at that time, was just amazing. It meant a lot. And aside with that, the same leadership team at the Council of Churches for my birthday one day surprised me, and they filled my office with literally hundreds of balloons. And again, balloons, you need way more in a workplace than balloons to keep people going and motivate them and everything. But it was a total surprise. And I just remembered opening the door to my office, and it was filled with nothing but balloons and confetti. So much so that I had to like shuffle through them. People didn't know I was in my office. There were so many balloons, and I loved them so much. I left them there all week long. So for a whole week, balloons were flowing out of my office into the hallways, into all the areas around us. And again, I think it's a great example of just the belief that they had in me, and that we had in what we were doing together. And our team here also, I think, again, we just like flow a lot of belief into each other. And that is a priceless gift.
That's awesome. And if you have pictures of that, I feel like the people need to see you amidst all the balloons. And yeah, this explains now why you get so excited when there's ever a balloon and all the helium that you
I
sing
do.
songs with.
I love a
Yeah,
balloon. I love it.
you've had good practice. Well, I'll share one of mine. And shared this with our team before we got started, just as some food for thought. But one of the best gifts that this team, I think, has given me is like freedom from perfectionism. And I know we've talked about this on the podcast before if you've listened for a while, and there's different episodes where we talk about failing and is failing okay on your team. And for some of us, that is harder to like accept, even if your boss is like, hey, it's okay to make mistakes and I want you to bring those to me. That's sometimes hard to actually internalize and accept. And I remember when I actually had my interview with People Centric, like this was something that Diana and I talked about. Like, we don't expect you to be perfect. We know that you'll fail, and not in like a harsh way, but like, we know that you'll probably make mistakes and you won't be perfect at this job, but this is the culture of our team that we hold really dear, and we're all here to support each other. And so that's been a wonderful gift, for me, and someone who really like struggles with perfectionism and trying to do everything right and perfectly, that you can be a human at work and you can admit you're wrong and you can make mistakes. And that's a really great gift.
That is a great gift. I love that one.
Good.
Thanks for sharing it.
I like this. Okay. Well, I wrote down a few. So we're doing it. Are we doing rounds? We're doing rounds. Is that what we're doing?
However you feel led, go for
Okay.
it.
I'll do that. If you feel that. Okay. Well, so the first one that I put was, and I think I've talked about it on here before, but it is here at People Centric. So I feel like here, and I'll say like, especially Dawn, I feel like something that you've gifted me is that like that just like highlighting my strengths and abilities whenever I've come to People Centric. And then I felt like everybody has been so good at that with each other. But I honestly feel, I think growing up, I felt like I was like pretty mediocre at a lot of things. Like I was just like I had, I was like an A-B student, but I was never like the best at math or the top of my class, or you know what I mean? Like I was just like okay at like things. And so I felt like, don't make fun of me, Diana. I'm watching your
It's just so cute. It's so sweet. You're like, I don't know, I'm okay. And we all think you're amazing.
I'm okay. But anyways, so I think so it was a very different experience coming into People Centric, where I felt like people shined a light on like, hey, these are like things that you are uniquely good at. And also like, here's the freedom. I think we've sort of alluded to that, but like, here's the freedom to use those too. So like, you don't have to do things just like this in this little box over here, because that's what your job description says necessarily. It's like, no, here's what we are asking of you, and also here's what you're really good at, and like go be free to use those. And I think that that's helped me to have a lot more like satisfaction in my work, because I just knew what I was good at, and then like how to flex those muscles at the right time. And so that's been really genuinely like a huge gift to me. So thanks, Dawn, and thanks, team.
Wow. Wow. This is
Yeah.
so sweet. Uh, I feel like this is one of the things that stress out people who aren't good at gift giving naturally, is watching other people give really, really good gifts. And then the tension of like coming around like, okay, well, my gift is somebody gave me a candy bar one day at work and I just was really appreciative of that. So I was like, what does that look like? So, all right, first one I will share was like really early in my career. I was at 3M and I was working a lot and I was thinking, man, I think there's something else in my life that I need to be doing. There's something else that's kind of pulling me. I'm not sure what that is. And I was thinking about starting a business and doing all this stuff. And I was like, man, I think I could help other businesses do stuff. And my friend Rob, one day, I was just talking about it again, and he looked at me and he goes, why don't you just do it already? Like, just do it, just start it. And I'm like, well, I can't just quit my job. And he says, I didn't tell you to quit your job. Just start the business. Just start it. Just get started with it. And I thought about that. And it was like a moment for me, it was an epiphany of like, well, yeah, I could, I guess. Like, I could just go start it. And so like within a few weeks, I went and met with an attorney and set up the business and incorporated it. And then, later the next year, I found the first client to go work with while I was still working at 3M, still trying to figure stuff out. And it gave me a lot of freedom to be able to say, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm still safe. I'm still getting paycheck, all the things. But yeah, Rob just one day just reflected back to me in a great moment and said, hey, why don't you just go do it? What are you waiting for? And I was like, I don't know what I'm waiting for. That's a really good point. So that was a nice gift because that led it to everything that we've built here, which is really awesome. So thanks, Rob.
I love that one. Yeah, that's a good one. And we're thankful for Rob too, because he started this whole thing. So thank you, Rob. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to have that person in your life. And I mean, now it's got to be somebody you trust who can look at you and be like, what are you afraid of? Like, what are you afraid that's going to happen? Like, why? And just to kind of say that a lot of like, oh, yeah, like, I guess that's not really a reason why I wouldn't do that or start that or take that leap. Yeah, we need those people. That's awesome.
I have another one that sort of ties to Bethany's. So it's sort of similar, but a little different. So a former employee of ours, Bethany Bishop, was very good to me. And she gave me the gift of being able to work at the top of my skill set. She would come to my desk and she would be like, I'm going to take all of these things from you that I can do better than you, and you go do the things that I can't do. And it was awesome. And I loved having her around because she just encouraged me to go and like give up the things that other people could do so that I could do the things that I was uniquely good at. And it was such a good feeling. And yeah, she gave me that gift a lot. She gave me the gift of working at the top of my skill set fairly often. And it was a wonderful feeling.
I love that one. And Diana, could you maybe break that down for us? Because I'm imagining there's at least somebody hearing that and going like, well, that could have gone really badly for Bethany. Like, right, coming to you and say, let me just take all these things that I could do better than maybe what you're doing. So tell us more about like how she did that, how she approached it, like why that went so well and felt like a wonderful gift.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have figured this out from this podcast, but I'm a little bit, just a tiny bit of a control freak. And I am, we'll call it a assertive personality. So I had the tendency to just like take things on and be like, I got it. It's good. No one else can do this as well as I can, all of these things. It's not true, but that's what I said in my head. And Bethany was very good about coming to me and be like, what if you gave this up? And what if I tried it? Right. And then she would try it and she did do it better than me. Or she would be like, what if you just tell me what's in your head, give me context, help me learn what you know, and then I can run with it. And if it's not good, I'll give it back. Right. She was always very much like, if it's not what you want, I'll give it back. But no, she exceeded expectations every single time because that's how she was. And then she would look at me and she would be like, hey, they really need help over there. And she would kind of just like guide me over there and be like, they need you over here. Instead of you sitting here doing these things that I can do, you go over there and do the things that I can't really do. And we need you there. And so she just reminded me often that other people could do things better than I could. And that there was, like Bethany was saying, I had a certain skill set that not a lot of people have. And I have certain strengths that not a lot of people have. And so she would guide me to use those strengths more. And it was really cool.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a great way to like look at each other and say like we all are really have really unique strengths there that we could use to support one another and not letting your ego get in the way of that, right? Because Don has talked about this a lot. We might have talked about it even in a very recent podcast of kind of that leader dichotomy of like everyone is unique and special and uniquely gifted and has strengths. And there's kind of nothing that special about that because we all do. And so when we can let our egos get out of the way and like acknowledge, like, wow, yeah, there probably is somebody on my team who could do this, it feels like a huge gift when they do that for us because it's not in our area of strength.
Yeah. Bethany Bishop is also awesome. So shout out to her. I feel like we talk about her a lot on here. So if she doesn't listen, then she's really missing out.
I think she does listen. Maybe not,
Okay.
maybe not to everyone, but occasionally.
Could send it to her.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'll just add like the other two that I was thinking of as far as gifts that I've gotten at work. Also, so I've had 3 children, and one of them I've had during my time at People Centric. And I just think, some people get maternity leave and some people don't really. I'm just, it's unfortunate about the way our country works. But anyways, I did have the honor and privilege of having some maternity leave with my last child, with all of my children, but with my last baby, Audrey. And that was just like that was a really big gift for me. Just so you guys know, and it was something that I know we've talked about too, because I was very upfront with all of that, and that I was like, I want to have another kid, and here's what I'm sort of envisioning, and all of those things. And so, anyways, Diana and Don were both just like amazing, like just amazing bosses to communicate with me about that and to just honor the sort of the request that I had to, but also to sort of just like, I don't know, we just like worked really well through that. And it was like, I just feel like you guys gave me so much of a gift of that time, because as a parent, you know that like that time and that season is like so incredibly valuable, and you just can't get that back. And so I'm so glad that I had that. And then I had some of like just the flexibility when I came back too. And I brought Audrey into the office several times. She's come and like hung out with the team at different points, and like and just even the encouragement in the times where I was like struggling as like a postpartum mom. And there's like so much that goes into that. Like, you can go to business school and nobody teaches you how do you help support your employees who just had a baby, or who are going through a hard time, or who are struggling with, just like mental health or other things. And I think that like that's a really big deal. And so, anyways, just so you guys know, like that was a huge gift for me that I appreciate.
That's so
Um,
nice. You
yeah.
made it an easy gift because you also gave back. Like that's the thing. You made it easy. You still gave back to the team while you were doing that. You were still worried, even though that, all of that is it's a lot. It's a lot for you to lift. While you were doing that, you still had your eye on our team the whole time also. So you weren't like making I don't think it felt like not to speak for everybody, I don't think it felt like a sacrifice from anybody on our team. It just felt like something we would do for each other. Like it's just a gift for our team. And I know we always get excited when Audrey comes around the office and we get to see her, because I think we all feel like we all played a major role in that. Not to overstate it, but we're all
a big part of that. That's right. Yeah. But anyway, so that's just I think that's very impactful for me, and so I do want to share that too. And then on sort of a lighter note, in some ways too, during our last retreat, this was a little bit more of a tangible, but during our last retreat, we had all shared like kind words with each other. And Don took those things and he like gave them to each of us like in a paper. And then there was songs that were created from the words that were written about us. And like that was one of the best things I have ever seen. because they were like, first of all, like we didn't know really who wrote what. And so just like reading words from our team and sort of just like not really like having an association necessarily with who wrote what, like just reading through like was very filling for me. And then the songs were just like I think I was crying because it was hilarious and also moving. And it was AI generated, if you were wondering. Nobody sat down and actually wrote a song, I
Yeah.
don't think.
I didn't know if you were going to share that part because it sounded like who wrote songs for every person on the team and what happened?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
No.
my gosh. That was a cool gift because that was a gift like we gave each other in that moment. What we did is we asked like talk about what it's like to work with each person, and we collected all those results and literally fed it into AI and said, here, summarize what this means. And then it summarized it. And then we went one more step and said, write a country song about this person, or write a rap song about this person, or write this. And it did. And it wrote these great lyrics that came from our own words about each person. Yeah, that was so much fun to see that. And it was cool as we were opening that because it wasn't anybody's specifically thoughtfulness. It was all of ours, like just combined together, just as a team. It was kind of a cool thing. So if you're out there doing Christmas holiday parties, that's a really cool idea for you to do at some point to get some feedback for each other.
I think one thing and I don't know, it's hard one thing you've all gifted me many things, but character is probably a common word with a double meaning of both. I think each of you have unique character, and as a team, I have learned a lot by like the character we have as a company. It's like the realness of what we do and how we do it, while also professionally making just like exciting differences in the world with different clients and team members. So it's like an upstanding character. But you're also all very interesting characters. There's some times where I'm like, man, if I was gonna write a book or a movie, I could slip a lot of us in there, and just as we are. And you're like, that is quite the character. That's a character that stands out to me. And with that, I think all of you have impacted my personal life beyond just the work life. So not the same as an Audrey, but Claire and I did get a dog, so a four-legged child. And that was because of Diana, a podcast last year even. Diana's like, is this when you're finally going to get a dog? This was the year of the dog. Literally the best food I've ever had in the world came to me at the table of Stephanie Anderson. And it was fresh green beans that she grew in her garden with this like it's just all these things. Yeah. Okay. People are getting reactions.
We didn't know where you were going with that. You were talking
Yeah.
about a dog, and then you're talking about like the best food you
You
ever had.
you did not transition the two
Yeah,
different
that's
things
not
at
so good.
all.
Taj is
You're like,
okay.
God, I got a dog, and
Taj-
it was the best
Taj
food
is
I've ever had.
okay.
And we were
No,
like, what?
no, I'm sure if Stephanie was gonna make dog, it would also, as blasphemous as that would be, it would probably be
Yeah,
Taj.
for the record, I've never eaten or served dog.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
Yeah,
never thought I'd
no.
have to say that
Dog's
on
not
the
the
internet,
craze.
Philip.
Well, not that you're admitting, not that you're admitting. But yeah, pivots there. And then the leadership I have also from Bethany and Don, just as bosses and people. I like Bethany's always sharing resources or following up. There'll be like a small thing we talk about, and there's a text or an email later of like, hey, this is that resource for that thing we talked about, or like this is how my life changed, whether it's like the finances or where I was getting this cool direct primary care or other things, just very like simple and very applicable to my life, which is constantly better. And then there's the Don Harkey, who has not only changed my sense of humor, some might argue for worse. My pun game is up. My laugh response is down. But I think the way that you just approach people, Don Harkey, more than any person I've met, is the same person wherever he goes. And that again just ties into this idea of character. And I think it spreads to all of us to like be yourself and be yourself really well and do it in a way that makes other people more themselves really well. And that's a huge gift. I could talk about all the things. My finances are different. I maxed my 401k now. Thanks for inspiring that culture into me as well. All those things. But the gift really of a team that cares about each other, it flows into both the work life and beyond. And I've never felt more equipped to just be a person with influence than I have before. And you have all a major part in that. So thank you.
And now Philip and I are officially family because our dogs are related. So I don't know
That's
how it
amazing.
works, but we're definitely related now.
Diana is the furry godmother. And
Yeah.
yes, it's
You
a
have
very
to-
important title. You're the
Your
It
first
is.
and only ever to
in-laws
have that
or what,
What?
like,
of our
are you,
dog.
are you like in-laws or like how do I don't know how it works. No,
It's
because
Furry
sacred.
godparents.
More sacred than in-laws.
I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like, yeah, they're dog cousins now. or
dog
something.
cousins.
no, I don't know if that
I
does
mean,
no. That's
no, our dogs are like half brothers.
yeah,
Well, I
they're
don't
related.
know what that
They
makes
share a
us.
father.
So
Not
Diana's
once or
your
twice
dog's aunt.
removed. Yeah.
Where are you two having
Are
Thanksgiving together then? Are you all getting together or
Just
Not this year. We
no,
do
not
it,
this.
we alternate years.
alternate
Yeah,
years of
because
which
of the
dog?
distance. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We send Taj to Seattle and then Rock gets flown in. It's
Yeah.
an ordeal. We don't brag about it, but
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. Okay is
Okay.
great. Yeah. Well, Philip, that was so nice and took us to a different place. But thank you. No, that was really sweet and kind what you said.
Yeah, that was very nice. All right, I'll share another one. I've had an interesting year this year. I actually went through a divorce and moved and had to move to a whole different house. I moved out of a house that I've lived in for 20 something years. And I had decided that I was just going to do that on my own and just kind of do that quietly. And I thinking back to that, how crazy that would have been, like how insane that would have been, how many of us ended up working on that and how long we all worked on that and thinking about me just doing that out there just like by myself or with my son or something just trying to do stuff would have been crazy but you guys taught me not just to help me to move but as a leader sometimes to ask for help and not just to ask for help as like a gift for myself, which it was, but also to recognize that it also gave something to you all. I watched you all have a lot of joy that day too, moving stuff around and helping me set up my kitchen and all the things. And I'm excited that you guys get to come back to my house here. We're doing strategic planning at my house in a few weeks and going to get to see where it's at. And you'll find a lot of the things that you put down are in the exact same places that you put them there, which is great because you did a great job of setting everything up.
Say
So,
they better be. But-
oh, of course they are. Of course they are. And some new things that have also been put into place. So I'm grateful for that. And I didn't just take that away again as like, hey, thanks for helping me move some boxes or bring stuff around, which was super helpful. But also just it helped me learn as a leader again that it doesn't have to be all on my shoulders. And that not only does it not have to be, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't. I should just get out of the way sometimes and let your team help you because that brings joy when we're helping each other. Like a lot of the stories that we put together here. And then the last gift is I'm just going to say like the time and talents and passions of the people I work with every day is such a gift. I know that's why somebody asked me at lunch today, like, why did you start this company? Why did you get into it? Why did you decide you wanted to be a consultant? And I told them, and I said, I don't think I ever really wanted to be a consultant. That's not the thing that I was like, well, I can't wait to be a consultant. That sounds amazing. What I saw was just the opportunities when you get to work with people on a daily basis where everybody gets to contribute what they are and they get to show their light and they get to make a difference and impact things on the outside and do something really cool. That's a gift. That's a huge gift. And we wanted to give that gift to the world. We want to help everybody to understand that, to see that when you go to work, it can be a job and you show up for the paycheck and you do the things. And I know most people feel like that about their job. And there's nothing wrong with you if you feel like that about your job. But there's an upside to it. There's an opportunity that you can find something to do where you're passionate about doing it with others who are also passionate about it. And you watch them contribute their talents and do the things that you're not good at doing, along with the things that you are good at doing, and coming together and creating something that's better than any one person could have created all at once. Is a massive gift. So you guys are my gift, and you guys just are the gift that keeps giving. You're the gift I don't get sick of. You're the gift I don't stick up in the attic. You're the gift I don't regift to somebody else. So appreciate you all and what you provide to the team on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you. And also thanks for not putting us in your attic.
Not for not putting in the attic.
I mean, now sometimes someone might get locked in the phone booth, but it's very rare and usually
It's
accidental. So
usually me and Stephanie's on the other side making fresh cookies, and it's okay. We're not gonna
I just want
scoff
you
at
to be surprised when you come out.
That was the other gift that we didn't
Uh,
talk about was Stephanie's cookies that she made in
really.
the office. Okay.
That is a good, yeah. It was not supposed to be tangible, but yeah, if people are listening on the outside, you're like, do you really make cookies at your office? I've gotten that question because I know we've mentioned it before, and somebody has asked me that, and I'm like, yes. Stephanie is an incredible baker, likes to bake cookies and makes cookies, and she will make frozen cookie dough and bring it in like ready to make. And we have an oven in our office, and we will stick it in the oven, and then our office smells like cookies for the afternoon, and we get hot, fresh cookies.
Can we please have this at strategic planning so that I can partake in the cookies?
Absolutely.
Requested.
Thank you for
Yes.
asking.
It
Thank
is
you.
it is on the Thanksgiving list to make new batch of cookie dough because there is currently one remaining cookie dough ball in the
Yeah.
freezer. So also, yeah, this podcast is such a mismatch of stuff. So thanks for still listening. But yes, just so you're aware, there will be more cookie dough in the freezer at People Centric coming soon. Thank you all.
Did you just say thanks for still listening? Because it's still a mismatch. Like, the funny thing is, part of me was thinking, like, we don't know. There could be nobody on this. It's just a podcast. Like, we record it, we throw it out in the ether. We don't know what happens. So,
I mean, you can edit it out if you don't like it. I'm so sorry. But I know I would say it's not our traditional podcast, but I love this podcast because I think we're getting to see the impact that like of the little things that maybe we don't realize we do in our day-to-day lives. Or just by being ourselves, like Don, what you said was so kind of just like the gift is that I get to work with you and I get to experience your gifts. And like, that's not something that like any of us comes into work and decides to turn on necessarily, like just to be yourself. But I think it's awesome that feels like a gift. And that's a gift that we all get to give the people in our lives and the people on our teams. And so I think that's why I like this as a question, because I think it makes you realize that there's like small things that you can do every day that really make a difference in how someone feels about their life and their work, and how content they feel with where they're at. I know, which taps into our last podcast. If you listen to that one or go back and listen to the one before this, just about those kind of like small and mighty ways that you can change the world. I like this. So I hope people are listening to this. And you can put your favorite kind of cookie in the comments. But I'll get us back on track. I've got one more on my list that I thought, Don, it was similar to the one that you mentioned about like being like asking for help and realizing that I am also someone who has a hard time asking for help. And so I can remember there was a moment in a past job where I was just super overwhelmed. Like there was so much on my plate and it wasn't like anybody's fault or my fault. It just was. It was just one of those seasons where there is just so much to get done. And I was an entire department in that job. So I didn't have like direct team members that I could be like, hey, let's figure this out. Like I was the department. I'm trying to figure this out. And I'll never forget there was somebody else in our company who saw that and saw that I was really overwhelmed and struggling, because I also wasn't going around and like telling everyone I'm so overwhelmed, because I was trying not to like ask for help or feel like I was complaining, because it wasn't anybody's fault. There was a ton of work to get done. And she literally came over to my desk one afternoon, just like pulled up a chair next to me. And she was like, I'm going to help you, and pull up the list and what needs to get done and show it to me, walk me through it. And we went through the list. And then she was like, okay, well, I can take that, and that. And I think maybe somebody else on our team can take that. And just like took some things off the list. And that wasn't her quote unquote job or responsibility. She didn't have to do that. And that was just such a gift, not only because it did take some things off of my plate, which felt amazing and wonderful and made my life less stressful, but it was also a gift because it's a reminder that like you can ask for help. You don't have to have like all of these like X, Y, and Z explanations why I need help. Because sometimes I'll think through that in my mind. It's like you almost have to build your case for help to ask for help. And so it was a gift for me, a reminder too. You don't have to do that. Sometimes you can just raise your hand and be like, hi, it's me. I'm drowning. I could use some help. So that was a great gift.
That's nice. I like that. So I think that's what I love this episode. Great topics. This is Stephanie's idea for the topic today, which is fantastic. I hope that everybody that's listening thinks about like what gifts can you give to others, and also take a second to think about the gifts you get for yourself. Because I think that a lot of the gifts that you're getting, you may not they may not come in wrapping paper, and it might not be real obvious in a moment, but I think we have those. And sometimes there's the old saying of like, don't count your blessings, but maybe go ahead and count your blessings. It might be a good time to do that.
I love that. Well, I think unless anybody else has anything, we'll end there. And we hope you enjoyed this, like Don said, and it gives you some time to just reflect as we end the year, what your blessings are, what you're grateful for, acknowledge the ways that you are impacting the people around you, or maybe this made you think of somebody that you're like, wow, yeah, that would be something I'd love to do for them, or a way I could help them. So again, thank you for being here today. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy your holiday season, and we'll hear from you soon.
Thank you for listening to the People Centric podcast. We are so grateful for you joining us every week. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Also, feel free to share on your social media with everyone that you know. It really does help us. If you would like to contact us, I have put our information in the show notes. Please reach out anytime. We love hearing from you. We will be back next week with a new topic.